I'm sorry that I voted for Trump. And, it's time to be accountable. And
I think Trump's compromised, and that's why he's bowing to Israel lately. I voted for him 3 times, by the way. I love the guy.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump. I am now unemployed because of him.
Hey, I voted for Donald Trump. And really starting to regret my vote because this isn't what I voted for.
So Trump voters are finally waking up, and for many, it's hitting hard. They are saying that the America they were being promised is not the same one they are living now because prices have gone up, jobs have disappeared, and everyday families are struggling just to survive. And so many are now admitting that this isn't the Trump they voted for. And many people are asking them, are you saying this because now it's affecting you, or is this genuine from your heart? Let's get to see the reactions, and kindly hit the subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments, all right? Let's dive into it.
Yeah, we voted for Trump because he promised while he was campaigning like a million times that when he got into office, he was going to bring down prices, bring down grocery prices. The inflation has been high ever since COVID, and he promised he would bring that down. But it's obvious to me now that that was not true. Egg prices have skyrocketed. The bird flu is killing all the birds, and he doesn't seem to be doing anything about that. He's stopping disease communications from the disease centers in America, pulled us out of the WHO. Like, how does that help anything? And yeah, all he's been doing is taking away rights and freedoms, or trying to. He's not doing anything about the economy. So yeah, we totally regret our vote at this point. We've had a really tough time here in North Carolina. Half of my house got washed away in Hurricane Helene, and I applied for FEMA assistance and we got approved. But now Trump is canceling FEMA and emergency assistance to people. He's also canceled Medicaid for my children. I know they said they put a halt on his freezing of the funds, but the Medicaid portal is still not working, so we can't access anything for our children's health insurance.
I'm not sure how to feel anymore about everything that's going on. So everyone's in an uproar because they're talking about taking away the SNAP benefits. Now, I voted for Trump, but I gotta say, man, I don't feel warm and cozy about this one. I don't agree with taking people's food, their resources to survive. There's elderly, there's children. I understand there's people on the system that abuse it, misuse it, buy processed foods, however you want to put that. But what it boils down to is just like a kid in a grocery store that's acting out, screaming, acting a fool. You can't blame that child. You got to blame who's in charge, the parents. Now, the government's in charge of all of this stuff that's going on. Senate, Congress, whoever, the president, they're in charge of, deciding who gets assistance, food, so to speak. They created a monster. Now they got to try to find a way to fix it. But I don't feel good about threatening if you're going to do it or not going to do it, because I don't know what the hell is going to happen. But you can't threaten people right before the holidays to take away all they have, which is food to feed themselves and their parents or whatever, and the children, right before Thanksgiving and Christmas. But it's ill-timed. It's not cool. I don't agree with it. I voted for Trump, but I don't agree with taking people's food. I pay taxes every day, and I'd much rather, even I know there's people that misuse it, I'd much rather take my money and feed my neighbors and the people that are not doing well and have no money or poor or whatever. I'd rather feed them than send all my fucking money to Argentina or Ukraine. Whoever's in charge of where our tax dollars go, they should all be fucking fired. They should have been fired at the beginning of the year when they found out how much corruption and misspending had been going on. The trillions of dollars pissed away. Find somebody that knows how to figure out the taxes to make sure they're spent properly not overseas. Enough of the bullshit. But don't take people's food away. A lot of people, that's all they have left to cling to is their food that they put in their stomachs every day. And if you take away the food, can you imagine what would happen? Tens of millions of people storming grocery stores, kicking doors in to feed their children because desperate times calls for desperate measures. And if you have nothing to eat, people already got nothing to live for. People are so depressed, anxious, stressed. I don't want to know what's going to happen. But like I said, you created this monster. Now it's up to you to fix it. We created it. Fix the broken system.
I voted for Trump, and I don't agree with him taking away the EBT benefits from the American people. This is what I just heard a creator say. And so now my thought process is, were you not aware of what you were voting for? Not who, but what? Because clearly you could not have been fully aware. So then that makes me think, when most people are voting, like, with this past election, were we just making votes because Trump was a white man and Kamala is a black woman or a woman? Is that what your vote was based on, rather than what was going to come into play from each of these candidates? This is why we have to read. We have to read to understand why we are making the choices that we are making. This is mind-boggling.
I'm sorry that I voted for Trump. And, it's time to be accountable. And I will be accountable. But I have always said, even through it all, that I don't believe that our votes matter whatsoever. I feel like it's a mind game to make us believe that we have a say-so, but we don't. I wouldn't have voted for the other person either. I wish I wouldn't have voted at all. Because if you've been following me for a while, then you saw me at the rally. You saw me lose my TikTok account for speaking against him.
I don't know, something makes me think that these two ladies are actresses.
I said while I was there, I was on live, and I was saying how it looked like a bunch of people from Central Casting. And they banned my live and banned my account. And then I got it back after 30 days. I'm telling you, we all have to realize it's not left versus right. They use that to divide us, okay? It's us versus them. They are both puppets. They're not even in control. We're yelling at Kamala and Trump. They're not even in control. They are the puppets for Israel. And that's just the truth. But I want to apologize. I wish I would have never voted.
I think Trump's compromised, and that's why he's bowing to Israel lately. I voted for him 3 times, by the way. I love the guy. And then whatever happened to Charlie kind of opened my eyes to, to be honest, it was Charlie's questions. And how he started pushing back on Israel after he went there. Because he used to, if you paid attention to Charlie Kirk at all, he used to bow to Israel himself. And then he did his own investigating, and he was like, nah.
I am regretting my vote for Donald Trump. I am now unemployed because of him. We were head research in the development of do bears shit in woods? And if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around, does it make a sound? We were leading that. And now it's gone. I 100% regret my vote for Donald Trump.
Hey, I voted for Donald Trump. And really starting to regret my vote, because this isn't what I voted for. I voted for a lot more people to go to jail. I voted for a lot more politicians to be stripped of their power and put in prison for the crimes that they've committed against humanity. I voted for the Epstein list to come out. The full list. The full fucking list of every politician, every bureaucrat that had anything to do with those minors.
Is there a worse choice than voting for Donald Trump 3 times in a row? I mean, I would sooner stick a in an outlet 3 times every goddamn Sunday, then walk around for the rest of my life knowing that I got in line 3 goddamn times to vote for the felonious, insurrection-inciting, racist, misogynistic, bigoted piece of monkey shit who shut the government down rather than fund education and healthcare for the citizens of this fucking country. I mean, Jesus, tap dancing Christ! If you're surprised by what's going on, I bet a kidney that you've fallen victim to some multi-level marketing schemes. Because this shit was predictable. You know who was president the last time the government shut down? I'll give you a hint. It wasn't Joe Biden. You can sit there and prattle on about how, well, I didn't vote for this, and I will sit there with a shit-eating grin and tell you, yes, you fucking did. Because all of this happened last time. The deportations, the shutdown, the international embarrassment, all of it happened last time, only less so. And you got in line to vote for it a second time. You motherfuckers meet Einstein's definition of insanity because you keep trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
I will never understand why people think a man who couldn't even put his hand on the Bible, who cheated on and divorced 3 wives, who stole so much money from veterans that he's no longer allowed to run a charity, is anointed by God.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in slogans like "Make America Great Again," but greatness doesn't come from speeches, you know. It comes from policies that actually help the people. What we're seeing now is a result of broken promises. Groceries have doubled, you know. They have skyrocketed to unimaginable levels. Rent is through the roof, you know. Cuts to healthcare, Medicaid, SNAP, you know, food stamps. And this has left many people struggling and wondering how they are going to survive. And it's so ironic because 76% of those people who are on SNAP, they live in rural red states. So the same people who cheered for the policies that they thought that were going to hurt other people are now going to suffer most, you see? Because many Trump voters, they believe that Trump's policies were going to hurt minorities, you know, black people or even immigrants. But what they didn't realize is that when the net is cut off, everybody falls, you know? Now many people are now realizing that leadership built on division, false promises, self-interest, cannot fix a nation, you know? It cannot fix a nation's pain. It is a tough lesson, but a necessary one, because real change begins when people finally wake up and stop believing in personalities and start paying attention to policies, all right? The truth is that America cannot be great again until it's fair again for everybody. So many Trump voters are finally saying through the illusion, realizing that the change they were cheering for, but the only change they got was grocery prices going higher, gas prices going higher, and everyday bills just going higher. And what's worse is the division that it has left behind. Our families are torn apart, communities divided, you see? Neighbors who used to care for each other can't even have a conversation because of politics. America is now divided more than ever, you know? The unity that once made America strong is now gone. But here is the thing. Admitting regret isn't weakness. It is growth. It takes even more courage to demand better, not just for yourself, but for your country. People deserve leaders who actually tell them the truth and not what they want to hear. They deserve leaders who serves everybody, not just the wealthy. And leaders who actually understand what it is like to live paycheck to paycheck. Leaders who worry about rent, and leaders who worry that your kids don't get sick because the medical bills are going to break you. And maybe this time round, people are going to look beyond slogans, you know, beyond the hearts, beyond the rallies, the noise, and start reading the policies and truly understand what they mean. Because that's where the truth is hidden. It's not hidden in speeches, not in sounds, you know, but in the fine print that affects your daily life. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.